Hey guys, I'm Chris,
I'm Kendall.
and we are Bike Gearheads.
Today we're going to talk to you guys about the Pivot Shuttle LT.
This is Pivot's long travel enduro e-bike that is kind of mocked off of their Firebird platform.
We've both been out on it a handful of times, and we're going to give you guys our first impressions.
Yeah, this bike is a super special ride, and I think something that is pretty dialed from Pivot. We're able to get out on some super long, fun adventure rides now that the snow has melted here, thanks to the Shimano motor that is equipped on this Shuttle LT. Kenny, how about you give us some generalized stats about this LT, travel, wheel size, give us all that good information.
It's a 160 mil rear travel with a 170 mil fork. This bike is a full 29, and all of their stock builds are full 29, but you can convert it to a mixed wheel if you'd like to. The Shuttle LTs are class 1 e-bikes, meaning it does not have a throttle, it's just pedal assist, and the motor will stop giving input at 20 miles an hour. For this XL size, it's a 64.5 degree head tube angle, a 514 millimeter reach, so pretty big, but like not anything super crazy as far as like XLs go. They don't do a double extra large, and so this is kind of the biggest, baddest one.
Nice. And yeah, if you don't know, Pivot kind of trends to be a little bit of a bigger bike. So if you're typically kind of right between sizes, Pivot might actually be a really good fit for you. I personally find myself between XL and large frequently. The large of this bike fits me perfectly. I did do a big ride on this XL, found myself to be pretty comfortable still though.
Yeah, I'm about 6'4", and I found the XL to be like kind of right at home. It's a little bit longer than what I'm used to, but I think Pivot does a good job of offsetting the longer reach and wheelbase with a pretty manageable 439 millimeter chainstay that I think gives you a little bit of maneuverability.
Yeah, so this bike has a 756 watt battery, custom designed by Pivot. Pivot being one of the kind of forefront leaders of bringing e-bikes to the market, e-mountain bikes to the market in the US. You can really tell that they've done a lot of work to really refine this platform.
Yeah, it's kind of standard Pivot fashion. They will over-engineer the bike to suit their exact needs to make sure that like the design perfectly hits their intended use of the product.
Yeah, so we actually have been testing this bike for a little bit, and we love these so much. We just got 3 of them for our video team. So shout out to Pivot. This bike has been crushing it, even with extra heavy packs on, getting our crew around. We're all a group of riders that like to have fun, even with big packs on. This longer travel e-bike has just been such the sweet spot for us. A big benefit to that also is that specifically tuned front fork in collaboration with Fox for this bike.
Yeah, it's a EMTB specific tune on the fork, and I think this is a good segue to get into the build specs. This is the Ride SLX/XT build. This is actually the entry level option. It's a hybrid XT Dior drivetrain, SLX brakes, Fox performance suspension. We talked about the fork, air can in the rear. Super predictable. These are alloy DT Swiss wheels that are like I think known in the industry to just be super durable. You can always count on them. You're getting a Maxxis Assegai tire front and rear. I had actually never ridden this tire combo until I rode this bike, and it is super fun to ride. It is like ultra grippy. We rode a little bit of rock slab. It was very predictable.
Tell me about climbing. Tell me about the Shimano motor. What are your first impressions on kind of its characteristics?
Yeah, I think it's really intuitive to get along with the Shimano motor. It kind of just puts as much power into the bike, as much effort as you put into the pedals. On fire roads, I definitely found myself in the boost mode quite a bit. Pretty fun to just fly up those things while you're talking to your friends. Usually switching into the trail mode, at least personally, for single track, I just found it a little bit easier to stay on my line, keep the bike with like a predictable feel. We got into like some actually really technical climbing, and the bike tracked super well. I found myself standing up a little bit, getting out of the saddle just to like balance over like really technical, rocky sections.
And that DW link kind of, the more you put into it, the better it's going to be. You're super supple off the top end, but you have so much rear wheel traction, especially with that motor kind of holding the core of that bike down.
That is a good point. Yeah, I think DW Link really pairs well with increased power going to the rear wheel, preventing rear wheel spin, letting the bike track through maybe bigger rocks, loose rocks on fire roads and things like that. It's just really predictable.
Now that's enough about the boring stuff. How about the downhill?
The Pivot is super fun on the downhill. I think the bike encourages you to go as fast as you can. It's a Pivot, it's kind of like poised and ready to go, and responds to rider input immediately. I definitely found myself pushing the bike down into the ground, pumping through terrain, trying to milk speed out of it, just because the bike makes it really fun to do that.
Yeah, and I think that this bike also jumps really well. It's really fun through the rollers. It's really capable. You're pulling up for doubles. I do think that that DW Link is a little bit sprightlier than, say, a VPP. So, you might not be as plowy. even though the weight of the e-bike kind of helps compromise with some of that. But it just really helps liven up this bike and make it a little bit more active than some of the other e-bikes on the market.
Yeah, it definitely holds its momentum really well. I think you can maybe attribute some of that to the 29-inch rear wheel. Yeah, I think to your point, it does make jumping really fun. Just riding high speed in general, it's great.
Sweet. Well, who's this bike for?
I think the Shuttle LT fits in as, like the enduro rider's e-bike. Like you mentioned, this thing is designed pretty closely off of the Firebird. And so if that's a bike that you've ridden and you like, I think this is a good segue, right, into your e-mountain bike venture. It is a little bit heavier, but you get more range out of it. And so if you want to use your e-bike to really get deep into the backcountry, this is a great tool.
Yeah, so if you guys are maybe not super curious about the more gravity-focused or enduro e-bike, check out the Pivot Shuttle SL or Shuttle AM from Pivot. They have a full line of e-bikes that are ready to suit your needs.
And if you guys have any questions about which e-bike is right for you, be sure to reach out to a Gearhead, and we'll be sure to make our best recommendation based on your needs.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and keep an eye out for more videos. Leave us a comment below and let us know what you think of this beautiful bike, and we'll see you guys on the trails.
You.